Hey, what's up guys, Khraze here, back again with some more No Man's Sky content. Today's video is going to be a bit different than what you're used to. I wanted to have a real talk about the current state of the game and its future, considering that Next has an official release date and we've got quite a few details the past week. The reason I'm making this video is because after 2 years of playing No Man's Sky and pouring literal hundreds of hours into it, there are still a few things that I really think need addressing. I'm also seeing similar opinions being expressed by members of the community, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a rant type of video. I won't start criticizing the game. I'm still a huge fan of it and have lots of respect towards Hello Games for the fact that they have poured so much time and energy into it when other way bigger devs might have abandoned ship long time ago. This is more of a wish list type of video. So what are the major points that I want to see addressed once Next gets released? Well, I'm going to start off right off the bat with the biggest of them all, and that is the worlds of No Man's Sky. Now, when I say worlds, I don't necessarily refer to just the planets themselves, even though they are the main focus here, but also to the universe of No Man's Sky, both from an aesthetic point of view and a technical point of view. My biggest gripe, which I also expressed numerous times in the past, is the way biomes get generated. It always seems that even the best looking planet is the result of different bits and pieces being thrown together in the mix with no regards to aesthetic fidelity, to synergy, to have something really well put together and not have it look out of place. And I get that this is a major flaw in procedural generation and that Hello Games is trying to fix it, but when I see how much progress is made in other parts of the game which were previously deemed as either being impossible or too hard to do because of technical limitations, I really wonder if this is one of them as well, and if so, how can Hello Games improve upon this? It's something that I really want to see. It's something that a lot of people still complain about 2 years after the game has been released, and it seems that no matter what happens, no matter what updates we get, we never truly get to that vision that has been shown in the E3 trailers from 2014 and the year after that. That is one of the main reasons people got into this game. It was because of exploration. What better way to incentivize players to explore if not the environment they get to see, the worlds they get to explore? I think we're reaching a point where we're getting a lot of cool new features, which I am more than happy about, but I wouldn't want to have the core functionalities and aspects of the game suffer because of this. There's also a major bug in the game currently where some certain assets such as trees don't get generated on certain biomes, and I really wish to see that being acknowledged by Hello Games and fixed within the next update. I'm not really holding my hopes too high. I don't think it's unreasonable for me to suspect that the vast majority of the next update will be centered around multiplayer, especially since it was the main talking point at the Xbox convention and was the main thing Sean Murray talked about during that interview. So all in all, I still want to see that world that can be created in No Man's Sky. I really want to see that feeling of mystery that it was portraying. Another big issue that I see being thrown around quite a lot is the creature models and the AI. While you can, thank God, find some excellent looking fauna, it's mostly an experience that lacks substance, and I like to at least see more interaction in the wild. Not necessarily player to creature interaction, but more so between creatures themselves and the environment. The old trailers showcase some very nice possibilities that I'm surprised they didn't make into the final product. Like, one of the early trailers showed some really nice interactions between some very large creatures and the trees around it, and of course all the smaller animals started running away, all the packs around it starting fleeing in fear, and that was such an amazing thing to see, knowing that you're traveling inside what seems to be an almost infinite universe, and having a chance to see something like this was really an amazing sight at that time. It's such a shame that I'm not sure if it was technical limitations or just time or just the Hello Games just couldn't implement all of this, but it's such a shame not seeing that scenario fall out in the current game, and it's something that I wanted to see from the very beginning. Currently, the experience around all of this is rather devoid of essence. I'm not sure if I'm putting that correctly, but I don't recall anybody ever finding something similar to what was in the old trailers. And we've done a lot of exploration in the last couple of years. A lot of other YouTubers have also covered hundreds, if not thousands, of planets. We've gone from one world to another in very quick succession, and while we did find some good looking ones, it never got close to what it was showcased before No Man's Sky was released. I really hope that Hello Games still has in its plans to bring that core feeling into the game. It's basically what made this game so distinct. Its visuals as well as the possibilities it entailed, and the fact that people still have these concerns 2 years after the release is warranted at least to be brought in the attention of the developers. So all in all, I really hope to see something done in this aspect. Speaking of planets, I'm also going to talk about a few technical aspects that have yet to be addressed in the entire existence of No Man's Sky. I'm obviously referring to planetary rotation. Back at E3 we were able to see planets rotating around their own axis and around the sun. It was also mentioned, I think there was even an interview when it was talked about it. Of course, launch date came and we never saw that feature ever again. Nor has there ever been any mention of it after launch. At this point I'm wondering if Hello Games has even completely abandon this idea, or is it just impossible for them to bring it back at this point? Something tells me that this will be a problem for quite a while from now on, and I'm not really holding my breath for Next to even acknowledge this, let alone to fix it or to bring something in that regards. I do hope I'm wrong on this though. I do hope that the current way space systems are all static and all lacking any movement will be fixed sooner rather than later, even though this might be the biggest of the technical limitations currently, at least in my opinion. I still want to see it being implemented, otherwise space just looks like and feels like a glorified skybox more than anything. It really takes away from all that experience, and since No Man's Sky wants to call itself a simulation, it's such a shame that a lot of things don't get implemented into it. I mean, if it's a simulation, it's a rather bad one in some aspects because it just doesn't respect the real thing. And the fact that it doesn't have many of the features that should be there really takes away from all of that, and it makes it feel so much in lacking substance, and it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So all in all, I think from all the things, I would rather sacrifice any new type of planetary systems than have all of this missing in it. I would rather see planets revolve around suns and rotating on their own axis rather than seeing new types of planets like ringed ones and whatnot. I would just want to see that and have that feeling into it, and not look at a constant frozen skybox. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Moving on, another big point that might not be such a huge deal for console players is the performance. The main reason I'm even mentioning this is because Sean talked about the introduction of colonies in Next. From what I've gathered, it seems that Next will give us players the possibility to build colonies together. This feature hasn't really been clarified yet. Like, will we be able to contribute towards the same base, like build huge structures in the same location, or is it giving us the tools to just build individual bases inside the same system? Like, for example, a player could build a base on this planet, another one could build on the other planet. I'm not really sure yet. I reckon the first one, the one which implies players grouping up and building in the same exact location, will be significantly more taxing on your computer, and since No Man's Sky can run quite poorly even on high-end computers, this could be a disaster. If you don't think this will be a problem, just travel to the former capital of the Galactic Hub. There's a lot of comm stations near the portal, and there's like several dozens of them, and they really tank your performance. I mean, even on my computer, it can slash off my FPS almost in half, and it's not even such a big deal, not compared to structures, not compared to the details that structures can have. Like, let's say everybody starts building this huge colony filled with skyscrapers, with farms, with plants inside of it. If that is the thing that we'll be able to do in Next, then No Man's Sky really needs some addressing in regards of its performance. I really hope that this is something that Hello Games keeps in mind, and I'm honestly willing to bet that there's a major chance for that to happen. I don't really think Hello Games wouldn't look into this, and since it's something that has been a constant issue since the very beginning, and since Hello Games has indeed brought more performance and stability patches along the way, I think this is probably going to be addressed at some point. That is something that at least I really hope, because again, you have to take into consideration that all the testing they are doing it locally. Nobody has access to it. We don't get a beta, we don't get to test things out before a patch drops. That's why Hello Games typically comes with a lot of other smaller patches along the way to fix big updates. So all in all, I wouldn't hold my breath to be perfect on the release, but at some point it will probably be addressed, but I really hope it's not going to be too late. The last point is something that I wanted to keep towards the end, and it's more of a wish list thing rather than a pressing issue, and that is customization. Since multiplayer is going to play a huge role in Next, players will need more tools or more ways to differentiate from one another. I'm fairly certain that character models will already deal with this in part, but what about ships? What about exocrafts? What if you're participating in races or dogfights or exploration with your friends? I'd like to better differentiate who is who if I'm rolling with a party of people or fighting against one. I said it numerous times in the past that the current ship exocraft managing system is rather flawed. It has many flaws, okay? I always found it frustrating seeing how I am spending a lot of inventory slots, a lot of time, a lot of resources to upgrade so many aspects of a ship, yet I never get to see any of those changes visually. I also believe that the current way players acquire ships is also partially flawed, and I'm going to use this game itself and the story itself and the way it starts to further bring this up to light. So from the very beginning of the game, what is the main thing you start doing? Well, that's right, you're fixing your ship and you're upgrading it. You're essentially a lone traveler in space who has no option but to get down and dirty, to get technical, to acquire knowledge about fixing your ship and upgrading it. So then, why aren't we able to legit engineer one of our own? Well, I'm not holding my breath for a feature such as this to be implemented in Next, maybe somewhere down the line. I do hope at some point we'll get an option to at least pick parts from one type of ship to another and have something modular, like seeing a fighter you really like, and let's say that fighter has some really nice wings or maybe a really cool front, and you want that attached to your current ship, which may or may not look good. Have all of those visual aspects be there, and not just have a UI interface that gives your percentages increased and boosts your stats. That's not really something that I want to see in this game. I want it to be all visual, but until then, at the very least, I think it's reasonable to say that a limited form of customization will most probably be needed. Something like simple color change should not really be that difficult to implement. Like, we can do it already with buildings, so I don't really see a big deal in having it for ships as well. So I'm not sure, maybe I'm missing something here, but at the very least this is something that I would really want to see. I'm not really sure what Hello Games has in store for us. These are just a few of my concerns and things I really want to see being added into this game and addressed before bigger updates coming and before bigger functionalities get added. Now, if you guys agree with me on this, or if you don't, make sure to post in the comment section below. If you have other points you want to bring, then you're more than welcome to post them. This is basically all I had to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you know what to do. A like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. But until next time, I hope to see you again, and peace out.